You're welcome to today's class. Today we are going to look at pointers, declaration, and initialization. We actually did this in the last class. We are just going to continue along that path, right? So without wasting much time, let's get right in. Now, in the last class, I only declared the integer pointer. So I'm going to declare other pointers for you to see in this class. So the first one is what? I will say int, let's say int ptr, right? So this is an integer pointer. Then we can say char. So this one is character pointer. Then we can say double. So t pointer. We can say float. So we call it fptr. So this is float pointer. Now this is me declaring pointers. The moment I do this, memory, there's an opening to the memory address. But if I declare a pointer like this without pointing it to an address of a variable, it can point to any garbage address. So I don't want that to happen. So what will I do? I can actually declare a pointer and appoint it to what? To a null value. So I can do this. I can say int ptr, then I will assign null to it. So by doing this, it means I'm pointing my pointer to a null value. So if I'm to print out this, it will print out 0. So many operating systems will not allow your program to access the 0 memory because it is a reserved memory for the OS. So this is actually a secure process of me declaring the pointer and pointing it to a null value. So with that, it's not going to point to any garbage value in the memory, right? That is very important. Then I can also declare a void pointer. Void pointer. Let's call this VPTR. VPTR. So this is a void pointer. Now, a void pointer is a pointer that can point to any of these. That can point to any of these. Right? So I can say int x assign 10 to it. Then I will declare a void pointer. A void pointer. Call it VPTR. Right? I will do this. Then I can say VPTR point it to the address of x. Right? I can do this. But the issue now is if I'm going to dereference this x, I have to typecast it. What do I mean by that? This is a dereference operator. This dereference operator. While this one is address of operator. Address of operator. So this operator tells me the address of that variable in the memory. While this operator, which is the asterisk, is used to access the value that is in that memory. So if I have a void pointer and then I'm pointing that, using that void pointer to point to an address of a variable. When I get to that address and I want to access the value, I need to typecast it to what? To this integer, which is the data type of that variable. Why do I have to do that? That will enable the compiler to know the size of the memory to read. Because integer is 4 bytes, right? Integer is 4 bytes. So if I'm using a void pointer and I'm pointing it to this, when I'm going to access the value, I have to typecast it. So to access the value, which is this 10, what I would do is what? I will simply do this, right? and I will say int, then asterisk, then I will say vptr. So this is typecasting. So I use this to typecast the void pointer to what? To the same data type as the variable. Then I will use this one to now access the value that is in that address. So this one will now give me what? 10 as my output. So that is the meaning of typecasting. So that is what I want to show you. So a practical example of a void pointer is, say for example, you have a remote control. A remote control that you can use to access TV. You can use to access radio. You can also use to access a projector. So before you press any button on that remote control, you have to tell us what you are pointing to. Are you pointing to TV? So you have to press TV before you press any button, so that the remote will know which signal to send. Because if you don't do that and you just press the button, the remote will not know whether to send the signal to the TV or send the signal to the radio or send the signal to the projector. So that is an example of what? A void pointer. So when you declare a void pointer and you point it to this, when you want to access the value, you have to specify that it is an integer that I want you to go to. So that is the concept. Now, let's write a small program to demonstrate that. So I can do this. I can just say this include stdio dot h. Then I will say int main, my main function. I will come here and I will say, I will declare int x assign 10, right? Then I will say int, I will say void pointer, that is vptr, and that is, I'm declaring this. Then I can now say vptr address of x, right? Then I can say printf. Here I am going to say value of x, right? Percentage d slash n. So now I'm going to typecast. In order for me to access this value, I'll typecast int, then vptr. So then I'll say return 0. Then my curly bracket, I'll close it. So this will simply print out this one, and then this place is telling the printf function, I'm going to supply you a value, print it out in the digital in the integer format. So this one will print out 10. So this will print out this on the screen. So that is what I want to show you in terms of declaration and initialization of what? Pointer declaration and initialization. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. You can equally follow me on my Facebook page. So next class, we are going to continue still along the path of pointers until you are very clear with this. Then we'll begin to write complex program with it. So till we see in the next class. Bye-bye.